Hello everybody, welcome back. WEC China rages on. It's now time for our next match, another elimination match. We're sending our first Western team home. Will it be Na'Vi? Will it be EG? Well, for those answers, we have to hop into the draft. It's game one of a best of three. Loser of this series will be eliminated. The winner still has a couple more matches to go their way. And with that being said, the picks are well underway. So, any second now. Well, first overall pick, Death Prophet from EG. And we're going to see the Fnatic strat with the Tinker Beastmaster duo. They're one of the main teams, I guess, that used it, the old Fnatic. But other teams have experimented and obviously very strong, giving Tinker mobility all around the map. And also a good ganking partner with the Roar to set up his teleport E-Blade shotgun shenanigans later on in the game. So very potent duo. Both heroes great at clearing the Ancients, great at farming the jungle, and EG get a really strong team fight duo of their own, the Death Prophet Faceless Void. It was a first overall pick, Death Prophet, in fact. So they get it on the dire side, making them especially fearsome as far as Roshan advantage goes. And now we enter the second phase of bans, neither team having picked up a really hard support. The Beastmaster can be played as more of a 4 or 5 position. Well, not really a 5, but more as a 4. We saw that from Fnatic in the past with the support Beastmaster. You can run it as a core, though generally he's going to get bullied off of the lane by a hero like Faceless Void. So if they are laning against each other, that won't go particularly well for Na'Vi. So still flexible how they want to lane the Beastmaster, but I think the big thing here is looking at the bans. EG did remove the Skywrath Mage immediately from the pool. It's a hero that Na'Vi used very effectively yesterday, and along with that we saw their Vengeful Spirit, Mirana. Those are the Mirana removed now, so the only one remaining from those is Venge, but you can see EG just really want to take away these early aggression heroes from Na'Vi, along with Funix Bat, which he has been sensational with thus far in Starladder Europe. So with that being said, Na'Vi turned to their bans and removed the Enigma for Zai. Again, dire side Enigma, much scarier, and it's still an option for them as they have yet to pick up a single support. And I expect EG will remove another support, and, well, Earthshaker's the choice. So something that can protect the Tinker and also poses problems for Void when the Void tries to go in for a Chrono. ES generally sitting quite far back, and as soon as you jump, he just fissures and counter-initiates on you, preventing the Chrono from getting an easy kill. So I do like that, and now Na'Vi, one more ban to go. EG will need a support of some kind. We've seen them run Alchemist quite a bit as support when they're on the dire side here, so that's an option. I'm not sure if Na'Vi would look to ban that one, but just something that EG may be interested in picking up. And they don't ban the Venge, and as I mentioned, something Na'Vi like to run. They'll pick it up right away, and it's especially potent in this game because they've got the Beastmaster as well. So now you've got the synergy that can come from Venge and Sara as well as Inner Beast, and it gives them a lot of push, which you really need when you're going up against, or when you're running a Tinker, rather, because as much as Tinker can split push the lanes and kill the creeps, he doesn't take down buildings, so you really want to be able to take advantage of that map control, which is where having this Vengeful Spirit Beastmaster duo comes in handy. 2 answers for the Chronosphere as well. A hero gets chronoed, you just roar the Void when he jumps in and tries to kill them, and of course if someone's trapped in the Chrono, the Venge can swap them out and keep them safe. So on all counts, I like this Na'Vi draft thus far. It's a slightly less common pair of heroes than the Beastmaster Venge, but well suited to try and deal with the Faceless Void threat. Now earlier today, we saw a lot of Shadow Shaman play, picks and bans, and yesterday in particular we were seeing them, but no Shaman snapped up yet by EG. Does go pretty well with the Chrono Death Prophet duo and gives them a ton of push potential. Also helps them with Roche, but for now they go for a Venomancer, and it's something that can be run pretty much. It used to be run as a support, but we see nowadays with the much less effective Venomous scale doing 0 damage at level 1 that generally teams like to run Venomancer as a core. Get the early Mechanism or Aghanim Scepter and just be basically a source of damage and crowd control in the team fights. Again, good team fight, good synergy here with the Death Prophet Void. Nature's Prophet now picked up by Na'Vi, and it's looking more and more like it's feeling a bit similar to the Cloud9 draft from yesterday with the Tinker Prophet. The supporting cast a bit different, but I'm curious to see if Na'Vi approaches it the same way. From C9, it was a very kind of split push oriented draft. They didn't take too many engagements. And EG kind of having a similar draft to what C9 were facing in that matchup, which is maybe not the I don't know if superior is the right word, but the very strong team fight composition. And depending on these last two picks, it may just be a game of keep away in the mid game. More AoE now for EG. They get the Jakiro and more push as well. They've got some late game insurance here, but more than anything, this team likes to take towers around that like 8 to 12 minute mark or so. And now the final ban will come out for both teams. Looking at EG here, probably going to be an Arteezy Death Prophet that would put Universe onto the Void. That means they'll be needing a support most likely. I think this will be a farming Venomancer. But if it is a support Veno, then they'll need that hero for Fear. So it's flexible. We also saw earlier today that if they want to pick up a more micro-intensive core, that like the Panda, who is still in the pool, then sometimes they'll put Fear onto the support role. So EG showing a little bit more role flexibility than what they did back at TI4, and we'll see if they continue that here. Na'Vi, more worried about the Doom. They'll remove it from the pool, and so far, EG don't really have a great Tinker counter in the mid game. They haven't picked up a Storm or a Bat Rider, as the Bat was banned in the first stage, and thus they are going to have trouble ganking him around the map. So if you're not ganking the Tinker, you'd better be winning team fights and taking objectives before he gets too big, or eventually Na'Vi are just going to chip your base apart. Last pick now for Na'Vi. Well, it's time to find out for sure if this is indeed a support Beastmaster, which I'm thinking it might be, but it still could be. I mean, we could see the support Beastmaster in the farming bench for Havost. Again, something he's run quite a bit recently. So, still not 100% sure which one of those two is a support, but I'm leaning towards the support Beastmaster and then looking at the farming bench for Havost, and that would be a Funnic Nature's Prophet and a Dendi Tinker. And they get a lot of burst damage from this Visage, but they're a little single target heavy here for Na'Vi. And the Familiars will be useful for scouting and setting up ganks for this Tinker on the map. He's got lots of ways to teleport himself in now with the Tree Ants, the Beastmaster Hawk, and the Familiars. So a lot of mobility, a lot of scouting power, and EG round things off with the Ursa. This might be the Zai Ursa from TI4. Maybe we're going to see an early Roshan attempt. Na'Vi do have ways to scout the pit out, though. They've got Wave of Terror, Prophet Tree Ants, but do they get there quickly enough is the question. As the players select up their heroes, it looks like it probably is... Oh, no, it's a Fear Ursa. Okay, so we won't see Zai handling it, but that doesn't mean it's not a support Ursa. As this could be could be a farming Venomancer. And for anyone who is wondering, Winter missed the lobby, guys, because they started like 15 minutes early and he was grabbing something to eat, so you'll have to do without his analytical insight for this one game, but should be joining me for game number 2. And I'm really looking forward to let's see how this draft develops. I have not seen the Dendi Tinker, but I heard rumors about a 12-slotted game where he was absolutely magnificent recently. And can't wait to see if he can deliver once again. Here we go, guys. Underway now, Na'Vi versus EG, game number 1 of a best of 3. Loser goes home, winner stays alive, and we'll fight in the lower bracket round 3 for a shot at the lower bracket finals. All of those games to be played later today. So for EG, should they win this one, they play up to potentially 4 best of 3s in one day. It's a grueling schedule for them. And with that, we introduce the teams. Universe will be heading to the offlane as his, at this point, iconic Faceless Void. He had a magnificent chrono, to no one's surprise, last game. We'll see Arteezy handling the Death Prophet mid. Fear on the Ursa with an early Quelling Blade picked up to deal with the Nature's Prophet and any potential Sprout shenanigans. PPD on your Jakiro. That will leave Zai. Hoshino on the Venomancer. As for Na'Vi, they were worried about the level 1 Roche. They sent in the Trance to scout that out. 5 heroes rotate towards the pit, but fortunately for them, EG are not attempting it. And on the side of Na'Vi, we've got a new roster here with 2 new additions, but the 3 cores still remain. You've got Funnic handling the Nature's Prophet, Dendi on the Tinker, that puts FNG onto the support Beastmaster. It is indeed the Havost Vengeful Spirit, so it is the farming Venge, and that leaves Vankscore as the Visage. It's a little bit awkward running the Beastmaster in an aggressive tri-lane if that's what Na'Vi wants to do, because the hero doesn't offer you much at the early levels. You really want to level up the axes. He doesn't have much control until you get the boar leveled up a few times, and ideally you just want him to hit level 6 and have Roar. But they do have some push here. If he takes that early point in the Aura, in Inner Beast, and you combine that with what Havost brings to the table, towers could drop. But you can see what Na'Vi was up to. Waiting for the rune, and also just in position to stop any potential efforts to get a ward up near Tinker's Ancients or even attempt to block them. So now we enter the lanes, and Dendi, not having the best creep block. Arteezy got the better of him there, so he's going to be fighting in the river. But he knows with this EG lineup that, oh, as I'm beginning to lag more and more, but he sees PPD and Zai in the lane now. So he knows that at this stage of the game, they're not really looking to gank him. That could change soon, though, with Fear. Not only with the Quelling Blade to potentially deal sprouts, but he's actually jungling. So EG are trying to get a little bit more off the map, and oh no, perfect world. At it again. Hopefully it cools down. We'll see if it stays this bad. But if it does, guys, I may go for just a quick reconnect to make sure that everything's working properly. So yeah, they're giving Zai the farm in the top lane. It looks like PPD just kind of hanging out. Oh, I say giving him the farm. There's not much farm to be had against this tri-lane. But yeah, this is at this point, just the way that Navi's chosen to play quite a bit over the past, I guess you'd call it 2 or 3 weeks at this point, where they constantly go aggressive with their supports early. Even if they're not a fully aggressive tri-lane, they are at least going for a lot of smoke ganks, putting pressure up on the map, and the result is Funnick is left to his own bottom lane. But that's okay for him now. This Void doesn't have the items or levels to threaten for a kill, but once he gets close to level 6, once he starts leveling up the bash and points and backtrack, Universe can threaten for a kill on Funnick, but for now, there's not much danger. And always, as we see Fear using choke point jungling very effectively. For those who aren't familiar with it, the idea is basically there are certain areas on the map where if you eat the right trees, then the creeps can't, only one creep can hit you at a time. So you don't have to fight 2 creeps. It's a more efficient way to jungle. Doesn't work against these guys, though, as they are ranged, so they'll hit you anyway. And the skeletons, whoa, spawn too. Fear's going to have a hard time killing off the rest of this camp, but he will slowly bring it down. Might have to go back and heal first, but he's off to a pretty good start for a jungle Ursa, and I believe he was pulled some regen initially. We'll see Na'Vi decide that they can't really do much to shut down this top lane, and even if they do, they're shutting down a Venge and a Twin-Headed Dragon. It's just not a very threatening duo of heroes, so they'd rather rotate the Beastmaster on the map, make sure he secures the Tinker's farm, maybe even begin stacking the Ancients. They've already missed 3 potential stacking opportunities, but or sorry, 2, but they'll have room for some more soon. And he's about to miss that 3rd stack opportunity. So for now, it looks like he'll be stacking the medium camp towards mid, but at some point the Ancients will be his next objective. And they also have other heroes who can do this. Funnick can assist in those efforts, and the goal is just singular. Make Dendi a beast. And Dendi is holding skill points, so most likely we'll see him go March, but if there's an opportunity to finish off Arteezy and jump out to an early lead, then he'll certainly take it. They're already scouting the Roche. I mean, this is the Ursa factor. It's a little early for him to kill Roche, but they just want to make sure that he doesn't even think about it. If they sent 2 or 3 heroes, they could take it this quickly, but for now, just doing some scouting near the mid lane and perhaps even looking for someone to rotate in. As FNG starts to bully Arteezy, tries to drive him off the lane, but doesn't quite have the damage for that. In fact, he's the one who's forced off. It's a very passive laning stage so far. In terms of farm, Na'Vi doing extremely well in all the lanes. The Nature's Prophet of Funnick already 19-3, Universe only 13-1. And Void normally a hero who wins a lot of 1v1 matchups, even against range heroes, simply because he's very difficult to harass and he has great base damage. But just now getting his poor man shield in his boots. He is running low on regen, but this is where it gets harder to harass him out of the lane. Funnick doesn't have his phase boots yet, and Universe wants to punish that. Goes in, looks for a bash. He's not going to kill him even if he gets one, but well, at least make it worth his while to dive that far. The problem is now the trans go back the other way, and they continue to harass him as well. But I think already this is looking decent for EG, even though they're getting out farmed, simply because Na'Vi aren't finding those early kills, and so often we've seen over the past couple weeks that that's where Na'Vi are really scary, is when they get into the snowball mode. Fight you under your tower, kill you under your tower, then kill the tower. That's been the old Na'Vi modus operandi, and they've returned to it as of late. Still, they're not doing much to shut down Dendi, and the Prophet is farming well. And that's where EG need to look towards Roshan. Once we get towards the mid-game, you'll probably see the early Mask of Death, in fact, already out for Fear, and he's got his smoke ready to go. The Hawk was here earlier, but no, the timing's not quite right to scout it. Though, right as I say that, the Hawk's coming back. And Dendy has skill 3 points in March. He can drop that near the pit. As EG begin to invest a lot. They try to put pressure on Dendy, maybe trying to draw the attention of Na'Vi away from the Roche pit, but already the Hawk's there. It's just waiting for Fear to show up. And he's going to keep on slowly smacking the Roshan. Mid lane. Mid lane, Funnick goes in, gets the Sprout, but Arteezy, the X's are actually going to, I believe, cleared out the Sprout. I don't think that was a Tango out, though it's a bit laggy. Funnick still finds the first blood with the phase boots, then runs his way out, while Fear continues to work on the Roche. So it's an expensive effort. They do lose the Nature's Prophet as the trade. And Fear will very, very patiently kill this Roche off. Now he's gotten to the point where he can just lifesteal pretty much back to full health with every auto attack, and never a story about dropping too low. And they are rotating Havost in, but it looks like they're going to be too late. Fear already claiming the Aegis, so first blood to Na'Vi, but there was the 1-for-1 trade, and the Aegis as well going his way. And as soon as it looks like there won't be action, I will try for that reconnect, guys, but there's a little bit of pressure mid lane. Havost already throwing out a stun on Arteezy, dropped him low, couldn't finish him off, and then will back off in the end. As the Nature's Prophet ult splashes through. So, alright, we're going to chance it. We'll go for a quick reconnect here, guys, and hopefully that'll fix issues, though. I saw some of the other casters were reconnecting, so it's possible that it's just the server. Hope you guys are all having a great evening, or morning, or afternoon, whatever the time may be where you are. It's been a lot of Dota today, and there's a lot more to come, too. This is only our second of 4 best-of-3s, and while this match is going on, the winner bracket finals is being played concurrently, as well as the other loser bracket round 2 match. So if you want to check out all those streams, go to twitch.tv/team/BTS. And looks like I did miss a kill. Actually, really, 3 kills. Come on, Dota. Even the players are lagging now, too. But oh, they lost their Tinker and the Nature's Prophet top lane. You're not the only one, Havost. Oh, that's bad. Tinker just completed his bottle in Soul Rain and only has a double stack in the Ancients. Looking at Dendy's other camps, there's some decent stacks in the jungle over here, so he can help get his boots of travel a bit quicker with that. But it is going to be a little worrisome for this Tinker having that early death, and if they can keep the pressure up, use the Death Prophet ultimate, maybe secure a quick tower. Ideally, you'd like to pressure the tier 1 mid, though. That's going to be tough with March, but force the Tinker to either rotate to defend or just give up map control, because once he gets the boots of travel, it gets a lot more difficult to take those towers down. And I suppose on that note, well, what's the plan for Na'Vi from here? Funnick is going for the Null Talisman Blade Mail build, it looks like. Already the 2 Null Talismans picked up the phase boots as well. So does not opt to go for the treads that we saw from Bone 7 yesterday, but a little bit more of an aggressive item build. Doesn't help you split push as much later on with that lower attack speed, but at this stage of the game, great for hunting single heroes down, and also nice against a hero like Ursa. You do not want to let the Fuzzy Wuzzy get next to you and start giving you a love bite. Keep your distance from the bear. We'll have a reconnect from Havost. Hopefully he's not lagging as bad as I am. He is in China after all. And it looks like we'll have the unpause now. So hopefully it's a little bit less laggy and we don't have to reconnect again, though. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, it seems a little better. All right. Very good. Very good. Let's hope it stays that way. But yeah, this is when EG need to be getting those kills. And ideally taking objectives, too. They got the early Aegis on the Ursa. He's still sitting on it. We'll see if Fear wants to actually complete a Vlad's or if he just goes straight into the Blink Dagger / phase boots. But whatever they go for, the important thing is that they keep the pressure up on Na'Vi. Even if Tinker gets boots of travel, that's okay. Don't let him farm like the Blink Dagon on top of that. That's where you really have to worry. And well, the aggression is coming from Na'Vi, not from EG. Onto the bottom lane, onto PPD, they'll jump. He's not even that far out. He's forced to drop the macro power, and Funnick immediately TPs to safety. I think he could have just ran away from that, but decided he wanted the full HP and a little shopping trip in the meantime. Apparently PPD's having visual issues after that, as is my computer. Apparently we've crashed. Do we have a Chinese stream we can go to, Brian? Okay. As you guys can see, Dota's had a problem, so well, we'll hop over to the Chinese stream in a second and try to get back in the game. Sorry guys, I guess it's just not our day as far as Dota 2 staying afloat goes. It's been one disconnect, one crash after another, and constant lag spikes in between. I've put in a pleading email to Valve, though. Of course, they're sleeping now, but hopefully whatever's causing these issues is something that can be fixed, because it's just been nonstop today. The Chinese stream ain't much better. Yeah, well, maybe we can catch that fight we missed when I was disconnected. No, we can't even catch that. We're just ahead of it. Oy vey. All right. Oh, God. All right, this is not the reconnect. We'll try again. Well, can we cast off of the combat log? Yeah, if this doesn't work, maybe I will go to the... Is it paused? Oh, it just doesn't say that it's paused. Okay, so it's not actually completely frozen, it's just paused. Yeah, I wonder if the servers are actually like hosted at the venue and the venue's having issues or something. Or near the venue. Because normally, from what I've heard, the Perfect World servers are decent inside of China, but I'm not entirely sure. They are sieging now. Fear, maybe wanting to just give up his Aegis. The Prophet ult comes through. Well, whether he wanted to give it up or not, it's gone now. And they look for the tower tonight. No, Vangscore doesn't get it. It actually goes the way of the Venomancer ward. And Vangscore now, caught out by Arteezy, probably going down to one more right click. He will. Arteezy forces him back even farther. While the Ursa returns and goes just for some lane farm. But Universe will continue to farm towards his Mask of Madness. And once he gets this, that's where he'll want to start finding some additional kills. As I do miss the Familiars getting the kill in the Venomancer top. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, Snavi's still not ready to get online, though. They need the Boots of Travel on Denny. They'll need the Blink Dagger after that. And then, with the Beastmaster Roar and the Hawk teleports, then they can start to find some pickoffs around the map. But this is where they're a little bit weaker. The laning stage beginning to break down. The Nature's Prophet not finding as many low HP heroes to go for. And before they really have their other core items elsewhere on the map. Well, it seems fairly stable for now. Knock on wood. Time walk forward, and then the Chrono to follow this one up. And, well, Universe just attacking very slowly because of the Grave Chill, but it's enough with the Macro Pyre. That's going to finish him off. PPD's the trade, and now does Universe actually try to fight this one? They swap Zai in towards the rest of the team. Vangscore finishing him off, now chasing Avos. But they're not killing this Faceless Void. He's too tanky. They'll try with a Grave Chill just to harass him a bit more. Funnick really wants this. He did have his ultimate. He was close to the kill, but not quite there. And EG does what you need to do when you're losing those fights elsewhere on the map. Just push out the top lane, prevent Na'Vi from taking objectives, and we see Dendi farming from the low ground, so a very efficient place to farm. Lets you check the rune quickly, though. Unfortunately for both him and Arteezy, the runes actually spawn bottom. It's a haste. But yeah, you can send a march, just barely clip the creeps, and also remain in a good position to walk directly into the rune spawn. It's also good for stacking while you're on your way to check the rune. But yeah, Universe will find Funnick. Does he have a bash available? Come on, get that bash, Universe. He does, and now Funnick goes down. Well, the RNG is strong, and the kill is there. That's another good one for EG. Now leading 7-6, leading by 3k gold, 3k experience. It's a solid lead, and they're going to try to extend it with Fear picking up a Midas. Not going for the early Blink Dagger. Pretty unusual, to be honest, but I guess they look at Navi's draft and say, we're ahead. We know it's going to be hard to end the game in the next 10-15 minutes, even if we get some kills, because of all their wave clear. I mean, it's not just the Tinker March and the Prophet split push and ultimate. It's everyone else on the team, really, especially the Beastmaster with the axes, as well as Familiars that can cut creep waves and just generally slow down your aggression. But hold that thought, because top lane, they've gone in Arteezy. They roar him immediately, throw the full complement of Visage spells his way, and quickly melt down the Death Prophet. EG not finding a direct return for that investment that Navi put out, but they'll look for one mid. Smoked up. Legikiro. Unfortunately, Dendy's already got the Boots of Travel. Not the fastest timing by any means, but considering that he had the earlier death, it's a decent timing. And well on his way to the Blink. 900 gold up. He's actually TPing in. Onto the Hawk. Onto the high ground. A safe place to farm. One rocket out onto Universe, instantly dropping him to half health, but the tier 1's already fallen. The Void with Mask Madness quickly finishes him off. Now PPD caught in the river, but this could be a bad engagement because the Void was just mid. He's right nearby, and Universe finds the Chrono, just catches out to the Macro Pyre onto Phonic, holding him in position while Zai will deliver his own ultimate, but now they've got to back off, and there's no backtracks for Universe. No, now there is on the Prophet ult, but way too late and way too low for him to go in further. Again, Na'Vi using their mobility to great effect, and we see Dendi getting involved very early in these fights. Not focusing purely on just split push and farm, which is more the route we saw Eternal Envy take. He did go for a lot of ganks after he got the Dagon 5 E-Blade Blink, but we didn't see him offer this much aggression. And part of it is just that Na'Vi have the better roaming supports around the map, and in terms of, well, not even supports, but just roaming heroes, I guess you would say, in the Venge, the Beastmaster, and Visage. Now Havost nearly completing the mechanism. He's getting tanky, and this is not an easy hero to bring down inside of a Chronosphere because Venge has really high base armor at this stage of the game. Does swap in Arteezy directly into Dendi, who happily collects his kill. Havost may pay for this, but well worth it at that to kill off the Death Prophet, and they might get Universe's the trade with the medallion popped on Universe. He's dropping low, jukes into the trees, but the Sprout gives them vision, a secondary soul assumption, enough to secure that kill. Only then does Fear arrive. He gets blinded, but just after the kill occurs. Now it's Phonic's turn to run and hide. He doesn't have a Sprout for 1 second. He could drop it, but if Fear gets next to him, he's probably going down Galed and then isolated. Self-Sprout, not enough. The Quelling Blade eats his way through, and Fear collects his just desserts. 3 fall in the end for Na'Vi. They do get the 2 biggest heroes on EG. Sure, there's a Midas on Ursa, but he's an Ursa against a lot of crowd control. Swap, the slow of the Visage, the familiar stuns that can come, the Roar, even if he does get a BKB, is always a concern, not to mention Blind and the mobility of a Tinker that makes it difficult to lock him down. So if you're keeping down this Void and the Death Prophet, I think you're still in okay shape for Na'Vi, even if you have a few slightly unfavorable exchanges. And now the Blink. So they will get the mobility item that Ursa needs to get involved in these fights. And you could see Roche just respawning. The Hawks already scouted this. But the question is, can Na'Vi fight into the pit? Very mobile lineup. Very good at single target pickoff. And also effective at taking towers. But they don't excel in these 5v5 team fights. Later on, perhaps if they... Just because they have so much mobility, they can almost always have a shot at that initial jump that gets them a 5-4 or 5-3 fight. But at this stage, if you walk into the pit, you're walking into the Venomancer ultimate, into Macro Pyre in a congested area with Chronosphere there, and top lane the Death Prophet's been brought down. Phonic rotates in with the Blade Mail. Dendi arrives as well with Boots of Travel, and they get a kill. Once again, EG forced to trade the Arteezy Death Prophet. He's just been dying a bit too much, I feel. 4 deaths already at 14 minutes in. Hasn't taken too many objectives off those deaths. And it's just tough not to get caught. If you're not with your team against Tinker Prophet, against the Beastmaster Hawk and the Venge and the Familiars, you're probably dead. It's basically a... I mean, I would call it like a 4-hero global lineup. And even Venge is... She's not global, but she's a great +1 to have to those ganks. It's very scary to go off on your own. But Arteezy apparently doesn't have enough fear. They will lose the tier 1 top, EG. Now the tier 1 bottom also dropping low. Universe is in position. He's got a Chronosphere ready to go. And they're bringing in reinforcements. Oh, Universe jumping in. He's just a bit too late to catch out the Tinker, but he will find a Vost. But remember, this is a tanky Venge. I mentioned it before. Lots of stats. Mech as well. Only bringing a Vost down to half. The Chronosphere has ended, but for some reason the visual animation remains. Universe now tries to retreat. Can't make it out. They do, however, lose the Venge, and the Visage will get the kill on the Void. Now Fear dropping. He just gets incinerated. But he does have that second life from the Aegis. Can he live a second time? Familiar stuns come out. I think that's where Fear's body was supposed to be, but he blinked to the left. Didn't get that animation either. Now Dendi, killed off by the Ghost, forced to retreat out, and Vangskor out of mana as the Prophet TPs. Oh no, don't TP in there. Yeah, he's thought better of it. Vangskor, one more blink, just gets out in time before Fear finds the kill. And yeah, Phonic's headed back towards mid. I think he canceled this TP. Either that or he just ran away and only saw him show up on the map later on. But EG lose their Aegis, and they do get a Tinker kill. Still, he's the most farmed hero on the map as they push in the bottom lane. 13-13 your score. Still a very close game in terms of that. Golden experience. It's an all-right lead, not EG's way, but not an overwhelming one. It's more just that they have the map control right now, and if they can take these tier 2s out, then it gets to the point where Navi's supporting cast can only leave with the 2 global heroes. The other 3 will probably not be able to. Nice pick off on the Courier by Funnick on the backside of play. It now looks for Fear, who can't use his Blink Dagger because he keeps on getting auto-tech. The Blade Mail from Funnick now thrown out as he sprouts Zai and right-clicks PPD. Dendy's going to nuke him down. They look for more kills here, and this Nature's Prophet with his plus 86 damage from the Vengeful Spirit R and the Mass Null tallies, too strong. Now looking for more, just right-clicking Arteezy. The Boar's here for assistance. Havost is being pursued out by Universe. I think that's a Chronosphere. Yeah, he caught 3, but he can't quite finish them after the initial one, and he will back off. Yeah, I'm like, why'd they stop moving? All right. It's actually a chrono. We just can't see it. All right. Well, there were 4 dead, so I totally can get away with a reconnect right now. What a night. Yeah, while we're loading, we have a teamfight recap for y'all. Woo, woo. Something to keep you entertained. So, 2,300 gold swing in favor of Na'Vi, 4,500 experience change. I mean, we're starting to see the power of their lineup, and that's just where they excel. When the Chronosphere is not ready for the engagements as they begin. I Tinker just died as well. Right as we reconnect, we see the 2 global heroes go down. Well, it was a good swing their way in the previous team fight, but now it's come back to punish them. And Vangscore pushes in mid. They're going to have to split push and stall this because without the Tinker and Prophet on the map, they do not want to be taking any kind of engagements. But yeah, when the Chronosphere is down, and it does have a decent cooldown, even at level 2, still 100 seconds, it's a lot harder for EG to take those fights. They need that level of control to deal with the Tinker, but even when they do have it, there's still Swap, there's still Roar, and not to mention there's the Nature's Prophet Sprout as well, which can frustrate a hero like the Ursa if he tries to run in for some auto attacks. Na'Vi are just very difficult to fight into, even when the Chrono's online. But without it, there's just no way you're getting a good jump on them in most fights. So we will see Fear work towards his next item, and this almost certainly will be a Hex. There's a slight chance he could go for a Lincoln Sphere to deal with the Roar and the Laser, but realistically, there's still a lot of other single-target nukes, and you really need the lockdown against the Tinker. So once he gets the Hex, we'll probably see Universe with his Maelstrom and maybe his next item. Something like a BKB is an option to deal with the Tinker's Ethereal Blade and Dagon, which are a long way off, but he does have the Dagon 1. And maybe an Aghanim Scepter is the alternative choice. But yeah, they'll want to start taking some more aggressive fights and going for tier 2s. They've managed to secure the Roche twice now, but they haven't done anything beyond that. The tier 1s fell early this game, and I still think Na'Vi giving up a kill here or there is okay. Their game plan is just keep the lanes pushed out, prevent EG from taking towers, and the Courier that died in the earlier fight just now respawns. That was a fully loaded Courier, I guess. Well, I thought I only saw an energy booster on it. Maybe it died a second time when we were disconnected. Either way. Oh, maybe they just put the items on it. That's probably what it is. And now they're hunting familiars in the secret shop. But these familiars have just constantly been hiding over the tree line, coming back in, chipping away at the tower damage. They're very effective rats, though they are technically gargoyles. FNG and Havos to push. Spreading the map out a bit, and we haven't seen Na'Vi quite resort to the tactics of Cloud9 where you're just fully hiding in the tree line, but well, they may have to if EG start to go after them with the Chronosphere. And speaking of going after Na'Vi, EG are smoked up now. Universe in the front. He's got a beautiful, beautiful glowing hammer, the Void Hammer, as he makes his way towards mid. And he might get Vangscore here. The March of the Machine's just ending, but Tinker's back to the base, so it's not the biggest loss if they lose Vangscore, and they will, with Universe jumping in. No, he doesn't want to chrono this. He actually is worried about this Tinker rotation in, who cancels his TP in the end. Doesn't end up going. They're a little too close to the tier 2, and EG just overall think better of it, and that frees up Funnick top lane. They've drawn everybody back more or less. Fear will take a rocket to the dome, and Funnick will retreat, but not before doing about half the damage to the tower. And this is important for Na'Vi. If you want to run this kind of a strat, you need vision, and you need your opponents to be playing in the dark as much as possible. As Savos looks for a swap in. He wanted to fight that. He's a brave, brave man. Speaking of brave men, it's Universe bottom. He can't go onto the Prophet. He drops the Chrono, but he's got to wait out the Blade. Now he tries to finish him. Funnick drops low to this. Dendy actually did TP in, but Universe has to retreat. Dendy lasers one. He can rearm and go for a secondary rotation. Universe is thinking about it, but not going to do it. Dendy TP's out. So both teams decide to to back down from Code Red. Down to Code Orange. And Havos continues to tank up. Ogre Club here. I'm curious to see what his next choice is. Maybe something like a Heaven's Halberd. There is a Chronosphere to remove that evasion, but it's very nice for disarming an Ursa who's not going BKB. The Void is potentially, but it hasn't completed yet. The other main option is going to be your Aghanim Scepter or a BKB of your own, but I don't really think BKB is the best for Na'Vi this game. There's a lot of physical damage from the Death Prophet ult, the Ursa, as well as the Void, and I would say if anything, it's an Ags, maybe a Heaven's Halberd. Probably Ags being your first choice, though. As a smoke occurs, FNG scouting with his Hawk and just looking for openings. They're going to TP on the Nature's Prophet over the top onto Arteezy. He pops his Blade Mail, then they roar PPD, and they turn their attention back to the Jakiro, who is happily offered as a sacrifice. A double damage run on Havostis here, and they're ready to push. He's hitting for 200 right now. And Funnick, meanwhile, hitting for 250 with the Venjara. Bankscore, though, is off on his own, and he will be pummeled by the rest of EG. The Tinker TPing in, has to cancel that one. Havostis is not afraid, though. He's going to swap one in. The tower does go down. They don't actually have Funnick for this. He's fighting at the top lane. Now he's going to TP in. Havostis will pop his mech and tries to deal with fear. Chrono connects on two, though. And now, can they focus anybody down in time? Havostis dropping low to this one. Dropping low. Doesn't die before getting the stun off. That means Universe goes down. Dendi goes Scepters and retreats out. While Arteezy's on the chase. They can go for a Dagon E-Blade rotation. Arteezy's got to be careful. He gets blown up by Dendi. They lose 3, but they've lost 4 in exchange. If they can keep this Tinker alive, though, it'll probably be all right. Not great, but not the best. Now Gale and Dendi. He's not trying to rearm and TP out. He just keeps on trying to run. Now the Ghost Scepter. Then the Blink away. And close, but can't get him. Jeez. Na'Vi are under the gun. But Dendi is farming as Ethereal Blades out. Slight lead for EG off the back of that fight, but like I said, it's not an overwhelming victory for them, and ultimately the Tinker lives. And that's where like you can make a trade that looks worse in numbers, but if you have a Tinker and he doesn't die, it's still not bad. Especially this game. There's no Storm, there's no Bat Rider, there's really no or Clockwork. Those to me are the 3 heroes that if you want to go late against the Tinker, those are the ideal 3 to have. Doom is not the best at catching him, but he's a good +1 if you have one of the other 3 to grab him all over the map. But they don't have those. So EG still looking for a tier 2 tower. Taking alright exchanges here and there, but starting to slip a bit in farm. Universe did not go Midas, and we don't normally see him do it. He normally goes for this build. Sometimes we'll see him go for... generally it's the BKB next. Sometimes if they're really far ahead, he'll get more of a damage item, but I'd say like 8 times out of 10 it is this exact build, and well, you've got an Ursa with a completed Hex, but end of the day, it's still an Ursa. Melee hero has to right-click, so vulnerable to the blind of Tinker. And doesn't have any mobility skills, just the single Blink Dagger. Which sounds okay on paper, but you're going up against March of the Machines, Prophet ult, the Familiars. There's a lot of ways to disable the Blink, and you only get the 1 Hex, so you'd better make it count. Dendi and Funnick split push. They scout things out, and again, they're just using all their summons so effectively. Treants to see where heroes are. Familiars all over the map. The Beastmaster had a gem earlier. Did they lose in the last fight? I think they might have. Let's see. Is it back on the courier now? Oh, it's on the Dire Courier. So they did lose in the last engagement, but well, they had it to provide vision and help maintain map control. The Roche attempt is coming. And Fear working on this one quickly. He does get bashed. Arteezy forced to drop his ultimate, and Roche drops low. Everybody's still alive for the time being. Then there's a Chronosphere on the backside to play. Once again, Universe delivers. Catches out 2. Funnick trapped in the pit. Na'Vi are going to lose 3 for their trouble, and they brought in the whole team. They wanted to fight. They could have gone for split push top, but they didn't do it. Now Dendi, Yule's in the air. He won't be able to blink out after this. He gets silenced too, but they got to prevent this Blink Dagger. It's 1 second from cooling down. Universe time walks in. They get Dendi as well. That's the big kill. 4 heroes fall. And now they're even denied this Ancient. The Zai works in on it. Fear will clean up a Familiar too. Once again, Universe. It's always Universe, guys. Caught 2 in the Chrono. Trapped 1 in the pit. 3 heroes basically dead off the bat. That was a very questionable fight from Na'Vi. To me, you had the Nature's Prophet top lane threatening the tier 3 tower. They've already brought Roche low. You don't yet have any kind of lockdown aside from Roar. And you're walking into the pit against a team that's going to have vision of you. With Venomancer wards, it's a naturally naturally favorable terrain for Navi or for EG to fight Navi in. And they tried to force it. I mean, I think they can give Aegis up to EG and still be in okay shape, but giving up Aegis and 4 kills and the Tinker, that is expensive. And the tower will fall bottom lane. Fear finds FNG bottom, hexes him, tries to focus him down, he gets bashed, then Havos gets focused with 4 heroes surrounding him, nowhere to go, and Navi are just crumbling in this game number 1, getting picked off all around the map as the death notifications come a solid 8 seconds after the kills. GG. We've got a BKB up on Universe now. But the big thing is that Dendi is still pretty farmed. If they can withstand the next round of pushes, if they can somehow fight their way up against the Aegis, not give up a lane of Rax, maybe trade a death or 2, but get rid of the Aegis and hold the base, then that's where Funnick can split push to try and draw them back, and with no Aegis, EG are going to have a much harder time cracking this base. There's also a 2-prong threat from this Ethereal Blade. Good for getting the kills, but also nice against the Faceless Void. When he goes in and chronos somebody, if he doesn't catch the Tinker, Tinker can keep his teammates alive. So it's another answer to the Chronosphere here. Just Ethereal Blade your teammate, or the Faceless Void if his BKB's already been used and not available for that, and you'll have another way to stall. So I still think on paper, Navi have good tools to deal with EG, but with that being said, EG have just the raw firepower. A 12k gold lead, a 20k experience lead, soon a heart of Tarask on Arteezy. And they may be getting to the point where they can just brute force it. Again, it's really up to Funnick to stall this, and he's itemized for split push. He picks up a Mjolnir now. They don't have anyone great to throw it on. Havos would be okay, but it's just more about the attack speed, the pure wave clear that it offers. I imagine we're going to see the Blink Dagger soon, though, because against a Void and a Blink Hexing Ursa, you have to be able to jump away before they can initiate up on you, and if you don't have the Blink, you just can't play aggressively enough to keep the lanes out. So EG defend mid for now, but with the Aegis, they're going to want to push this soon. Just waiting for the heart and Arteezy, it looks like. Any other big items coming? Fear, nothing really big on the way for him. Maybe a BKB will be his next choice. And PPD just working towards what looks to be a Yule Scepter. Yeah, just picks it up now. The recipe, rather. So EG with some okay items, yeah, but the main one's going to be the heart on Arteezy. And they're going to want to push with this Aegis before it expires. They're already grouping up towards bottom to do so. And they almost find Dendi, who was just in the lane as Arteezy shows up. But no faceless Void here, so no way to really jump him. Now look for some aggressive wards. Navi trying desperately to reestablish that map control they lost when they lost their gem. They need these wards around the map, so the Tinker knows where it's safe to go. Speaking of safe to go, Universe, he finds the opening, jumps in on FNG, BKBs, and bashes him down. That was actually a Chronosphere, I believe, but we just didn't get the animation for it. Now hunting Vankscore, and bashes him too. He gets enough bashes, finds the double kill. And Arteezy also found... Oh, actually, Arteezy got one of those kills. But yeah, I think that was an entire Chronosphere without even getting the animation. Havos, well, tanks the ghosts, and goes down. And EG can push straight on into the tier 2, if not to the high ground. Dendi's got a split push. He's going to need Funnick to join him on the side lanes with due speed. The one familiar that lingers is all they have. And Arteezy will run close to the tower, as close as possible, so the ghosts just keep on fighting and then returning. And yeah, that Venge died back here about 20 seconds ago, just so you're not confused. Well, I'm getting confused now, and I think it's finally gotten to that point where it's just stopped connecting to the game. Oh, Navi. They're under the gun, being split pushed to death. Funnick goes top instead, but he just doesn't quite have the right-click power yet. There's no Necro Book 3, there's no Assault Cuirass, there's no Desolator. He hits hard, but not that hard. Yeah, and that was the tier 2 that died, that notification. Alright, we're going to chance this reconnect. Sorry if we miss anything more, guys. But it's gotten to that point. It's just got to get done. So yeah, that's the way this is headed for EG. 1 or 2 more good fights, and then it's going to be a lane of Rex. Navi can still win from a lane of Rex down on paper, but that's assuming that EG give them time to come back. And if they can just take that lane of Rex in a fairly fluid manner, go back for round 2 before Navi have a chance to recuperate, that's going to be how EG look to take this game. Okay, while that was happening, apparently Dendi's Tinker was caught top by Arteezy, so did end up going down. So they lose their Tinker, who was trying to stall the game out. And we have yet another Another pause. The lights, I guess, at the venue, a bit of a distraction. Yeah, EG is streaking. That is a good way to put it. Mr. K-Pop-tosis. Keeping me company on a cold, lonely fall evening. Well, Valve is not keeping me warm, that's for sure. Perfect World. Not Valve. Perfect World in particular. But they just can't have this many deaths on the Tinker. He's died enough that he's basically even with the enemy Ursa at 32 minutes of net worth. And in terms of towers, it's only a 1 tower advantage for EG. It's a pretty minor lead in terms of that. They have taken the Roshan repeatedly, but you look at Dendi, 6 and 5, and you just see it's a different kind of Tinker he plays. He once wanted to come to fights very early, and it worked well, but the downside is if you play that level of aggression too often and the enemy team is prepared for it, you are risking more deaths. And EG have been able to find them. He does have to stay active on the map, though. They can't let EG get to Deathball status. Do not let them group up as 5. Do not let them get near your base with the Death Prophet ult ready. And so it's a tough decision for him as to when he gets aggressive. And that's where the vision comes in handy, but although they got some wards up earlier, we see one still lingering near the Roshan pit. The gem that they gave away to PPD, it's really killing them. When FNG died in that team fight about 10-15 minutes ago, it gave EG a lot of map control back, and Na'Vi still have decent control anyway because they've got all these summons they can throw around the map. The Treants are scouting, the Familiars are hiding, and often split pushing. And we will see if us actually opt for the BKB. Which, I mean, there is still a lot of magic damage. You're looking a lot from Jakiro, a lot of stuns that don't go through BKB, the Gal slow. You can BKB dodge that if you're quick. It's still not a bad pickup, but I really feel this game, like, if you die as Venge, it's probably going to be the Chronosphere, Ursa right-clicks, or the Death Prophet ultimate. And ultimately, getting the swap up every 10 seconds allows you to do a lot more for your team, but hold that thought. They found FNG mid. He just wanted to push out the lanes, and he pays for it. Gives EG another kill. And they're already grouped up mid. Remember, last time they came down mid, they took a tier 2. This time, I think they're looking high ground. They don't have the whole team here, though, and Funnick is pushing against them. So the Familiars will try and slow RTZ down. He does have his ult ready, but not much of a wave. Just 2 very low HP creeps out, top lane. Universe hunting, still finds Funnick with the Mask of Madness move speed. Chronos him, and see ya, Funnick. Back onto mid. They look for the Jakiro here. The Vengeful Spirit stun was dodged by a timely Yule Scepter, and as a result, Havosta's on the back foot. The clap won't be effective here. Now a nice defensive Ethereal Blade from Dendi. Buys Havost time, but not enough time. Or maybe it is. With the silence there, it looks like he'll survive for now, but the Visage not so lucky. He gets cleaned up. Triple stun on Zai, but it's completely stacked. Not spread out very well by Vangscore. And EG are in position to push the high ground. They've got to fight through the march, but they're tanky enough to do it on the Death Prophet. As Arteezy sits at 2,800 health. The Ghost will return, unfortunately, for him. So they look further for FNG. He gets silenced, but Zai can't get in range for Gale. They still have some push power here from Fear. You still have the bonus damage of Enrage, as well as the attack speed of Overpower. And that does help you to bring down towers quickly. Swap in. They found Zai, but he gets force-staffed out. They try to keep him alive for now. He actually force-staffed himself out. And the mech cools down. FNG will fall. And Arteezy looks for more. EG are close. They can smell it. They can taste it. They're hungry to take this game on, and Dendi will be next on the list. GG. It's a team wipe. They all die. And the game ends. It's a 38-21 win here for EG. They take it. They take it convincingly, and they do it against the Tinker Prophet, something that many other teams have struggled with as of late. And with that being said, the good news for the Na'Vi fans is it is a best of 3. So they'll have a chance of redemption here, but one more loss, then their trip to China will be short-lived, and they will finish towards the bottom of the bracket after a strong start to day number 1. So with that, guys, I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. Hope you guys enjoyed game number 1, and we will take a very quick break, return for game 2. Hopefully Winter makes it into the next lobby, and hopefully we get a deciding game 3. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned.